everyone, to this week's edition of Just Ask Freeman with Freeman Owen Jr. Of course, everyone knows Freeman. He's president and CEO of Financial Sources, Inc. For decades, has been guiding thousands of families. And I'm Rebecca Powers. I'm the host each week. I was a longtime news anchor for an ABC affiliate, investigative reporter, and I am very proud to, consider myself really a consumer advocate now. I retired to be with my special needs son, and now he's doing great, so I am able to be here each week with this amazing man. You and Miss Carolyn married more than 50 years.
That is correct.
We adore her. She is just so precious. Your family is amazing. How's business? Let's talk about your life a little.
Well, let me tell you, business has been fantastic. Now, this is a true story. In 3 weeks, I was able to help families with their employer-sponsored retirement accounts, and we did over $8 million of business.
Amazing. In 3 weeks?
Yeah, not all year, 8 million, 10 million, 12 million, or whatever. In 3 weeks, it's been, it even boiled down to the point of I've had to hire new administrators or additional administrators.
Wonderful.
And agents to help me out.
Yeah.
Because when you have 40-some hundred odd clients, then you have your family activities, like the little great-grandson that I have now running around. I just look at the fellow, I said, gee, man, this is another generation. I got to pass on some assets, transfer of wealth. So anyway, it's been a very, very, very good month. Very
wonderful.
Good, just wonderful. With family, business. I don't have no complaints. And Rebecca, you don't want to hear them anyway. So you do not want to hear complaints.
Well, there's so many people that come to you. They've been with the big box, and this was my husband and my experience for more than 20 years. You're with the big box for many years. You don't hear from them necessarily. They're just managing your assets, but they don't talk about your big picture. When to do this, when to start Medicare, how much your Social Security would be, how to save hundreds of thousands potentially in the future from having a tax plan. Last week, we had to end the show because it was flying by. We were going to talk about limiting your withdrawals. That is how you make sure you don't outlive your assets. So let's start today there.
Exactly.
How do you help people understand when and where to limit withdrawals?
Exactly. Well, here's how that works. Some folks, prior to coming to us, they had started taking withdrawals from their different income-producing assets. And they have been retired maybe a year or two.
Okay.
When I review their existing plan, I said, well, you need a second opinion here. I'm going to provide that. You're taking too much out too early. And you could run out of money because our plans, which are tax efficient, written plans. I mean, I've got the technology and AI and everything else to work with to come up with tax efficient plans to make sure that your Social Security benefits are,
turn them on at the right time.
At the right time. But you got to limit your withdrawals. And so I have the written plans such that you can see, I'm supposed to take X percent out. If I do it too early, my money may run out.
Yeah.
But we have it so that the percentage that you take out have the growth of your asset outpacing inflation. Turn on your guaranteed income that lasts longer than you, and it will be used for outpacing inflation. You'll know the percentage on the healthcare cost because, like I mentioned in the prior show, is that healthcare costs outpace inflation, and has been doing that for 20 years. So you could see in detail. I love what I do. In detail, you'll have the potential. You could see the potential advantages and disadvantages of withdrawing your assets. So folks, if you have $250,000, $500,000, $1 million of income producing assets, just ask Freeman how to do that withdrawal. Go to claim your spot. Go to that QR code. Schedule a complimentary consultation. We don't even have to charge fees. We built our practice over the last 45 plus years based on what? Trust. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned in prior shows, it's all about you, viewing audience. And you know that. Since I have so many clients who give me referrals.
Yes.
And we have not made, we have helped our clients avoid costly mistakes when it comes to withdrawal rates. And also, I might add, now sometimes that doesn't work for those individuals who have a substantial amount of debt. We talked about eliminating debt.
Very important.
Then I recommend that you do some consulting work or some type of work part-time, because the most significant shortfall in outliving your resources is the amount of debt that you carry, or you, Rebecca, remove, or I should say, get a high distribution or high percentage out of your nest egg too soon.
Right.
Something else too. One more thing I want to add. Unexpected expenses. This is all part of outliving your resources. You have unexpected expenses when you're working. New roof, replace an automobile, appliances, expenses pop up on you. What do you think would happen once you have determined, gee, I want to retire, but I better just ask Freeman first.
Amen.
You better ask me, so that you'll know, hey, I need some repairs. I've got to get new windows. Just simple things, but
those
costly.
happen in retirement too, is what you're saying.
And you're dipping into your retirement dollars and doing replacements of windows and doors and automobiles and remodeling kitchens and so on. We need to have a written plan so that we have the withdrawal rate correct. You may have to continue working. Find something that you like to do.
Maybe part-time.
Part-time,
yeah.
That's right. And maybe on a consulting basis. Mm-hmm. And so what you do is utilize those resources to do what? Eliminate debt. Because debt is devastating, especially when there's unexpected expenses that pop up. And then you owe X thousands of dollars in credit card debt or school loans. That's something else that we have to look at when we're looking at having our resources last longer than us or longer than you. All right. And so what do you do about it? Just ask Freeman. See that QR code over there? Claim your spot. That's what you do. Claim your spot and schedule a complimentary consultation. And we don't charge fees. And like you, I like the way you say it, the big box.
Yes.
You got the big box. We get down to take care of your particular needs, your concerns when it comes to retirement. And the way we have a system in place, tax efficient plan, know when to take your Social Security benefits, avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize it, know what to do when it comes to long-term care. We talked about that. Also prepare for increased healthcare costs. And what you do, folks, just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. As a matter of fact, that 833-414-7233, SAFE. 833-414-SAFE. Call us today, or either claim your spot, get your QR code, and get your consultation. All right?
All right. And it is absolutely free. That means no obligation. And our promise is you will never be pressured to do anything. It is all about you, as Freeman said. If you have any questions, jot them down during this quick break. We'll be back more with Freeman Owen Jr. and Just Ask Freeman.
I just love what I do. I don't see it as a job. It is a wonderful opportunity to be able to help others. Because I always say, if you do this, you get nothing back. But if you do this and give, blessings flow. First, I look out for their best interest. I ask a lot of questions in reference to their needs, their concerns, and they feel freely to discuss the particular financial services that I can offer them. You might not have the financial literacy when it comes to wealth distribution, legacy, have guaranteed income for life, healthcare, all that good stuff, man, is there for me. I have knowledge of, and I can help the clients avoid big mistakes in the financial world and understand the concern that I have for them. There's no romance without finance.
Welcome back. No romance without finance. Freeman said it very well. Married over 50 years and in business for over 45 years. It is so true. Traveling the world, being able to have beautiful dinners together and buy your wife beautiful clothes or maybe jewelry. How important is money when it comes just to freedom?
You know, let me share this quick story. Now, this is a true story. When we were college students back in the 60s, I was more or less so radical. I run around and, nice fro and everything. And my wife looked at me. She says, now I'm 19 years old, going on 20. She says, you know what, Freeman? You got potential. So now I'm going to bring it up current year. We're on a beach. And she says to me, I ask her, I say, well, why you tolerate me for 53 years? She says, well, Freeman, remember she shared that story when we were in our early 20s. She told me I had potential. She says, well, she looked me right in the eye. She says, you still got potential. I said, well, if I ain't got it together in 53 years, and all the things that the travel, as you mentioned, and the special nice things that she's been exposed to and actually live a nice quality of life where her Mondays through Fridays are her Saturdays. She's been retired. So those are the kind of things that I've been able to share with this spouse. And I'm very blessed to have a family-generated daughter, grandsons, and great-grandchildren. So this opportunity that I got involved in and been working all these years, game changer. It changed my entire life and my family's life. And like I told you, I don't have any complaints. And Rebecca, you don't want to hear them. So nobody out there in the audience want to hear that. What they want to know about is how to set a safe withdrawal rate, how to create an emergency fund, and also to consider inflation-adjusted annuity.
And you really have to protect yourself from inflation. If you remember in the late 70s, with 15 to 17% interest rates during the Carter administration, that was devastating. And I know you remember that. I was a small child, but you remember that very well.
We bought our first house then.
Oh, goodness. How do you protect people? How do you put into our written plans to kind of take into consideration that inflation shrinking our dollar?
You know how I always say, if you got $250,000, $500,000, or $1 million in income-producing assets, we take some of those assets and place them into what we call inflation-adjusted annuities. That is where there are bonuses and we have guaranteed interest rates, tax-deferred, tax-efficient, tax-deferred, and have these funds grow and outpace inflation. That is significant. I do my due diligence. I look for programs that are beneficial to our clients, which are inflation-adjusted annuities, because they grow at a rate that's guaranteed and is well above inflation rates. So we prepare for that. Emergency fund. We talked about unexpected expenses. You should have anywhere between 3 and 6 months of funds set aside. Any event that some
catastrophe
or emergency comes up, and you don't have to tap into your tax qualified plans like your 401k or that'd be a big mistake. You're removing monies there, and there's penalties tax wise, or into your IRA. You have after-tax money, and that's why I say, well, we need liquidity options. We need to have monies that you can place your hands on at least 3 to 6 months of monies available for unexpected expenses. I've kind of stretched it out.
Yeah.
Because now with our tax efficient plans, I say, well, why not have anywhere between 6 to 13 months
Nice.
of liquidity, of liquid funds, because we're going to outpace inflation now, but still we're going to need those funds for unexpected expenses, create that emergency fund. And some folks have, I don't give investment advice, but some of their assets are in market risk programs. And that can stymie growth as well.
Gotcha.
If you take these monies out of that, some of the, I should say, assets that are subject to market risk. Well, we have to make sure that it doesn't impact the portfolio's ability to grow. That's important. But I use what we call tax deferral when it comes to an inflation-adjusted annuity. We will discuss a little later how index universal life programs will be beneficial. Now, you don't invest, what you do is, that's a great plan when we discuss that, to have tax-free distributions, and I've got some great strategies to transfer wealth to our spouses and our children. And folks, you want to know? Just ask Freeman. You see that QR code? Claim your spot. Give us a call at 833-414-SAFE, 833-414-7233, and get your written plan, tax-efficient plan. Get your Social Security report so you know when to file, avoid costly mistakes. You're entitled to that, and how to maximize your Social Security benefits. So give us a call at 833-414-SAFE, 833-414-7233. Just ask Freeman, claim your spot, hit that QR code, and get your complimentary consultation.
Yeah, and it could be the hour that changes your life, truly. And again, you could be on the right track. If you are, they'll be happy to tell you that as well. And won't that feel great? All right, give us a quick call during this quick break. I'm Rebecca Powers here with Freeman Owen Jr. talking about your retirement. Any questions you have? Just ask Freeman.
You know, retirement planning can be stressful. We pride ourselves on being different from other financial planning firms. You know, and during your initial meeting, we will get to know you and you will get to know us. We want to learn all about your vision for retirement, and together we'll design a plan to achieve your long-term financial goals. Our friendly staff will make you feel comfortable the moment you walk in that door. Call us today for your complimentary review. You deserve the retirement of your dreams. Just ask Freeman. Call us at 1-833-414-7233.
All right, in order to retire, you have to have money to pay your bills every month. Of course, that's called income. Do you know where your income will come from each month for the rest of your life? Let's say, hopefully till 95 or 100. That is where a plan is so very important. How do you protect your income? There are so many different ways, but has your big box ever talked to you about that, Mrs. Smith? How do you protect your income?
You know, the big box might not mention that too much because of they have their opportunity to get fees. Nothing wrong with that. Okay,
Yeah.
They got to make a living. However, but not at the expense of my clients.
Amen.
Here you go. Remember how we talked about long-term care?
Yeah.
Now, I usually don't mention products, but this is part of this. This is a good part of this conversation here, where you have an index universal life product. And it provides a nice rate of return, 7%, 8%, 9%. Now, as part of the written plan, we can have what we call an index universal life. We needed long-term care. You mentioned cost. Well, it might be expensive. Well, why not have a long-term care rider on your life insurance, okay, such that the coverage is take care of nursing home health care, or assisted living. This is a great program to have a part of your overall income planning efficient plan. All right, now, here's a strategy I've been using and successful with it. One of my clients, I'll use one, purchased an index universal life. But the thing is, we've gotten everything in order. We did direct rollovers out of employer-sponsored retirement accounts so that they can take control of these tax-qualified plans and be prepared for what we call, quote, required minimum distributions. That's going to be on another show. Now, we've got everything in order, emergency funds, and then we utilize the fact that, hey, husband and wife, you got to take an inventory on finances and passing what I call wealth transfer to you and your children and grandchildren. With this index UL, you take a distribution. You may want to pay your home off, pay debt off, vacation. You can do a lot of different things with this index UL because the distribution is what? Tax-free. Now, here's another strategy. There is the Secure Act 2.0, all right, which is the change sort of like how retirement monies are distributed, okay? From employer-sponsored retirement accounts, you got to take what we call the required minimum distribution. Since I'm on this thing about having enough money so that these funds will last longer than you, now let's talk about a little bit about transfer of wealth. Now, we said the index UL can offer tax-free income. The death benefit is tax-free as well.
Amazing.
Now, suppose you have $100,000 that we want to pass on to our non-spouse in an IRA. Well, the taxes, let's say 24 to 30% on that IRA in the event that the non-spouse, child, grandchildren, or whatever, well, that could, and especially you can make the mistake of taking the 24 to 30, take it this way, $24,000 to $30,000 out of the IRA, $100,000 IRA, reduces it down to what? A $70,000 IRA.
And you're compounding your loss and you're not going to grow.
That's it. Well, death benefit, $100,000. Take the $30,000 out of the insurance policy.
Yeah.
Give IRS their $30K. Now the IRA is devoid of taxes. So now you transfer $100,000 IRA, $70,000 tax-free death benefit, transfer that right on over to the non-spouse. So therefore, you have an opportunity. You're going to pay some taxes. Now, you can't get away from that.
Sure, but you want to do it the smart way. You don't want to pay more than you legally have to.
Thank you. And if you want to know how that works, folks, just ask Freeman. See that QR code? Claim your space and get your free consultation. Call us at 833-414-7233. And we have strategies. There's not a sales organization. Strategies to look out for your best interest and take care of you and your concerns in your retirement. So again, we have a tax-efficient plan, Social Security report, different strategies so that we minimize taxes. You don't get away from it, but you minimize those taxes. Yeah. And make sure that your funds last longer than you.
And when you say minimize taxes, it doesn't just mean this year or last year. It means for the rest of your life.
Of your life.
You mentioned Index Universal Life and several different annuities that you like.
Right.
People need to understand, and I didn't understand this till I started doing these shows, these are contracts with major insurance companies.
Yeah.
And you as an independent, Freeman, you get to look at every single product out there, get to know your client, and cherry pick what is perfect for them. I want people to understand there's never been a safer or smarter time. At least annuity sales went up 300% over the last year. So what does that tell you?
Hey, well, that tells you that a lot of folks are concerned about having a certain portion of their assets. They got $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. They want to have some type of guarantees that will give them an income that lasts longer than themselves, and then pass those assets on. And like you said, I am independent. I do my due diligence and look out for the best interest of you, my client. And you know how I do that? Just ask Freeman. See that QR code? Claim your spot. Or give us a call at 833-414-7233 or 833-414-SAFE. Call today and get your consultation. There's no obligation, but get your free consultation. And you'll see a person that's looking out for your best interest. An individual here who is an advisor that, again, concerned about your concerns and your retirement concerns, all right? We will talk about some life insurance and how that it does supplement and protect retirement income. You don't use it necessarily as an investment, but what you look at is the opportunity of the distribution of cash value, tax-free. The death benefit can be utilized to offset taxes on employer-sponsored retirement accounts as well as IRAs.
And it keeps you out of probate court. That's another thing.
That's another thing.
Imagine your family going through this horrible loss of you, and they have to jump through all these hoops and spend 18 months and let a judge decide where the money goes. That's another great thing about annuities. It keeps your family out of probate. Hard to believe it. We're already out of time.
Well, you know, it passes so fast.
Flies by.
Yep. Now, one more thing I want to say about annuities before we close. Folks don't realize that a pension is an annuity.
Amen. Such a good point.
What if you got one check, you're retired, your pension started, and you got that one check and you die? Unless you have a survivor benefit, which is very expensive to pay for. So folks can understand the, we define a pension as an annuity. So I'm gonna leave the show up to you to close this out. And again, folks, just ask Freeman. Claim your spot. Get that QR code right there. And call us at 833-414-7233 to get your complimentary consultation, which entails tax-efficient plan, written, Social Security report, and the strategy so that your income will last longer than you.
It's all about peace of mind, and that is our point of this show. We hope you learned something. Keep those calls coming in. Keep those emails coming in. Some of your questions give us ideas for this show. We love you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time for Just Ask Freeman.